Welcome. Today, in this episode, I would like to work with a whole series of lunges and twisting. This will be able to help you open your pelvis, to be able to release the spine, and create more space for some breath to move. And as we think about breathing into the deep side body, into the intercostals between each rib, and creating some space for that rotation, that frees up the shoulders, that just frees up the body to move a little bit better. I left a note in the description for this to make sure that you have some specific props today. If you have yoga blocks, great. If you don't, you can use anything that will give you some support that's a little sturdy or stiff. You can stack some books, you can, get creative. Anything that works for you. I'll be demonstrating with some black blocks here, so they're gonna probably blend into my mat, but I am using some blocks. And what I want to remind you as you're working here is that this is your practice. This is your time to have a conversation with your body. It's not about what it looks like. I want you to think more about what it feels like. You don't have to look like me. You don't have to look like anyone else. This is the time for you to tap into how does it feel in your body. If something doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel stable, make some subtle adjustments. Move your foot a little bit, move your hips a little bit, whatever you need to do to work with your body, because you walk around in your body every day, so no one knows your body like you do. So come to your mat with every practice that you practice with me, and understanding that this is about your body, and you modify, you adjust. If you need a rest time, take a rest time. This is your practice. I'm just here to guide you. I want to start out laying down. We always start out my classes that way because it gives you a few moments to not have to hold yourself up, not have to hold the spine, not have to sit. You lay down, you allow the body to relax so that you can tap into your breath and get into that full deep breathing pattern. So go ahead and lay down on your mat. You can use a blanket underneath your head if you would like to. Blankets are wonderful tools with yoga, so make sure you've got one handy if you need it for under your knees while we're working with the lunges. All of those toys of yoga can make yoga so much more accessible. So start out laying down on your back. You can have something under your head or not. You can put something under your knees if you would like to. Any way that feels good for you to lay on your back is fantastic. If you are having some low back pain, I would offer that putting something underneath your knees. So a rolled up towel, a rolled up blanket, a couple of pillows off your couch, that'll kind of help release the low back, give the pelvis a little space, and allow those heavy femur bones to drop down and out from the pelvis. Once you get settled, move around a little bit, get your groove on while you lay down, and then I'm going to ask you to take a long, full, deep inhalation and hold at the top. With your exhale, I want you to sigh it out. So I want you to be able to let that breath out so you can hear it. And then we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, sigh it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now while you're here, let your eyes continue to drop down deeply into the socket, relaxing your jaw, releasing the tension that may be in your face. Let your shoulders relax down. Let your belly soften, soft and pliable, right? Those six-pack abs that you see people that have, that's really great for aesthetics, not so great for your breathing. You want your belly to be soft and pliable, expanding and contracting with each breath. The fuller you go, the more that expansion happens. That moves just not only from your breath, but into the rest of the body. So that's your opportunity to create some expansion with your inhale. As you're exhaling, you're engaging that belly, low belly muscle to help push the belly up into the diaphragm, pushing the air out of the lungs from as deep down into the lungs as you can possibly get. As you're working with your exhales, you're thinking of that as a space to be able to relax and release. Long, full, deep inhale as the belly expands, the diaphragm drops down, and that gives the lungs plenty of room to fill with air. And as you exhale, letting that low belly slowly press up against the diaphragm, pushing the air from the base of the lungs, and exhaling deeper and deeper, body relaxing as you use that exhale. A couple of more rounds of that long, full, deep inhale, long, full, deep exhale. While you're here breathing, I want you to just do that inner inventory. Your eyes are closed, just let yourself do that inner inventory. Let's start out with the good stuff. So noticing whatever feels good in your body. Maybe it's your ear, maybe it's the tip of your nose, maybe it's your thumb, whatever it is. I want you to find something or things to recognize in your body that feels good to you in this moment. And then I want you to be sure that you can now tap into some of those spaces that are feeling a little tight, a little sticky. And as you're diving down into those spaces, I want you to let go of any sense of judgment, any sense of expectation, and just be curious about what your body has to tell you. Our bodies are telling us all kinds of things all day long. We don't always listen very well. This is your opportunity to pay attention to your body, to honor your body, to be able to give your body what it's requiring from you, to be able to help it, right? To be able to relax, to be able to move easier, to be able to sleep better, to be able to do whatever it is you need to do in your job every day with as much stability and energy that you can muster for the day. Let's take one more full deep inhale and full deep exhale. And now slowly, letting your focus and your attention start to drift back out to the external. So moving fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, gently turning your head from side to side. Now bending your knees, bring the soles of the feet to touch the floor. And from here, what I'd like you to do is to take your feet wide apart and bring your knees to touch in the center. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right. And inhale back to center. And exhaling, drop your knees over to the left. And inhale back to center. One more time, both sides. Exhale, knees over to the left, right. And inhale back to center. And exhaling, knees over to the left. Good. Now coming back to center. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Reach up, grab a hold of your shins, and we're just going to rock gently, not too far, just rocking across the sacrum, massaging the low back, massaging the hips. Good. Coming back to center. As you exhale, lifting head, neck, and shoulders, draw your knees in towards your forehead in towards your knees. And inhale, releasing back, soles of the feet of the floor. We're going to do a quick round of the somatic pelvic tilts to help release the spine and the hips a bit. Taking your hands behind your head, elbows open. And as you inhale, you're going to tilt your sit bones down towards the floor. So the sacrum stays on the floor, but the low back, this curve in your low back, is lifting. And then as I exhale, I'm going to lengthen my spine, press the small of the back into the floor, elbows next to your ears, lifting head, neck, and shoulders, rounding into your upper back. And inhale, releasing back. And exhale, elbows open. Inhale, tilt your pelvis. Lift the small of the back. Exhale, lengthen, elbows next to your ears, lifting head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, release back. Exhale, elbows open. One more time. Inhale, tilt your pelvis. Exhale, lengthen, elbows next to your ears. This time, tuck your chin back towards your neck and lifting head, neck, and shoulders in line with your spine. Inhale, release back. Exhale, elbows open. Inhale, tilt the pelvis. Exhale, lengthen, elbows next to your ears, tuck your chin, lifting straight up. And inhale, release back. And exhale, elbows open. One more time. Try and see as you inhale if you can't get a little more lift through that low back. And then exhale, lengthen, elbows next to your ears, lifting straight up. Try to make sure you're not reaching with your chin. Tuck it down and back. And releasing back as your inhale and exhale, elbows open. Good. From here, rotate over onto either side, doesn't matter which one. Gently press yourself up. We'll start out in a seated space. Feel free to sit up on a blanket if you'd like to. It's always helpful to give the sit bones a little bit of a lift, makes it easier to sit straight and allow the spine to lengthen out without feeling like you have to work so hard to hold yourself up. We'll inhale, sweep arms up, and exhale, press palms down. And inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And one more time, inhale, lift. And this time, bring your palms to touch, bend your elbows, hands behind your head, press your head back into your hands, let your elbows open. Right, so your hands are pressing into the back of your head is pressing back into your hands. Good, and inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, bend your elbows just to shoulder height, right? And here's what I want you to think about. Draw your chin back towards your neck, press your elbows back behind you, let your heart center reach forward, and then gently rotate from side to side. Good, and inhale, come back to center. Extend your arms up. With an exhale, rotating over to the left. Right, so here's what I want you to think about. We're not using this front arm, your right arm, to pull yourself around. We're using that arm to just press the fingertips down. So as you inhale, lifting tall through the center, and then exhale, rotating from the belly. Biggest part of your rotation will happen between the shoulders, the neck, and the head. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, rotate over to the right. Same thing. Press down into the fingertips to lift the spine. Belly rotates. Head looking over to your shoulder. And inhale, come back to center, arms lift, and exhale, lower. Now, let's do one more piece just to release across the front of the chest, the pectoralis, the shoulders. I'm going to take the arms behind and either holding on to your wrists, your forearms, your elbows. And I want you to make sure that you don't let your pelvis tilt too far forward, so still keeping the spine tall. As you inhale, lift, and as you exhale, gently allow the shoulders to relax down. Not forcing, not pushing, it's just using that breath to relax and soften. Don't need to muscle your way out, nice and easy. Good, then releasing the hands. From here, we'll move to hands and knees. Now, if you do have tender knees, working with a blanket underneath your knees is a great option. It gives you that little extra cushion to help support your knees. I have old knees and sometimes they get a little cranky, so we have to take care of our knees. They do a lot of work for us. So from here, as we're on hands and knees, I want you to just think about those pelvic tilts that we just did. And as we come to a space of holding that spine in neutral, I want you to think about your low belly is like your zipper on your jeans, right? You're going to zip that low belly in and up. And as you do that, or zip the zipper up, That's going to help protect your pelvis, right? And protect your spine. So from here, I want you to take an inhale. And as you exhale, draw that low belly in and up. You might notice a little bit of a lift in your low back. We're going to release the right arm and the left foot up off of the floor. Try to keep the pelvis level. So if you feel this happening, try and find that rotation. And release that hand and the knee back down. Inhale, extend the left arm and the right leg. That belly's going to want to try and let go, so check back in with that zipper on your jeans. And releasing the hand and the knee. Good. So from here, I'm going to demonstrate using blocks. You can leave your hands on the floor. Whichever one works for you is great. Stepping that right foot forward. And I want you to just think about, and you can have blocks at whatever height works best for you. We're just going to gently rock forward and back. It's not a big space. Easy. Now with an exhale, let your hips drift back, lengthen the leg just a little bit. Don't worry about where your head is. It doesn't need to be anywhere near your leg, your knee, your shin. I want you to think about your chest reaching as far out over your thigh as possible. And then as you inhale, come forward to your lunge. Now here's what I want you to be careful of. A lot of times what happens with this back thigh is we collapse into that hip, right? Especially for you people that are hypermobile. I want you to think about a little lift in the low belly, an extension down through that inner thigh, all the way out through the inner heel on the back leg. Good. From here, I'm going to push down into my left palm, rotate open with my right arm. And then take that arm and sweep it so that it's underneath, right? So you're waving underneath your thigh. Inhale, rotate open. And exhale, underneath. And one more time, inhale, rotate open. And this time, sweep that arm all the way around in a big circle. Come back up. Bring your hands back down to your blocks if you're using them, or the floor if you're not. And bring that right knee back to join the left. Stepping the left foot forward. Same thing here. So play around with what works, right? If having your ankle or your knee right over your ankle is good for you, that's great. Otherwise, explore other options. Again, we're just doing a gentle rocking motion, right? Not a lot of motion. Nice and easy for the hips and pelvis. And then exhaling, hips drawing back, lengthening the leg. It doesn't need to be straight, right? You can have a bend in your knee. And if you have a little bit more straight, great. But what I want you to think about is chest reaching long over the thigh. Inhale, come forward, pressing down into my right palm to rotate open with my left arm. And exhale, sweep that arm under. And inhale, lift. And exhale, under. And one more time, inhale, lift. And this time, make that circle, right? Find that range of motion. Take your time again. No rush, no force. Easy. Bring that hand back down. Bring that left knee back to join the right. And now we're going to move into just a nice child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch, your knees open as far apart as you need them to be. Sit back with your hips. Relax your heart center forward. Now, if your forehead doesn't rest on the ground easily, there's a couple of different things you can do, because we do want to make sure we rest the head so we don't strain the neck. Short term, easy fix. You can bring your palms to stack, or you can make fists and rest on your fists. You can use a block. Here's what I want you to think about, is with every exhale, you're letting the sit bones get heavy back towards your heels. Try to make sure you're not pulling yourself too far forward with your arms. You can soften the arms, and if you want to, you can bring your arms back next to your legs. letting the palms rotate to face up. Relax the shoulders down towards the floor. And with every exhale, thinking about just creating a little more space along your spine between each scapula. Good. One more breath. Coming back up to your hands and your knees. Moving on. From here, stepping that right foot forward. And again, you can continue to use your blocks if you need to. We're going to tuck those back toes under and pick up that back knee. And now here, I'm going to do that rocking motion again, just forward and back. Again, you don't have to straighten the front leg. Just want you to think about creating a little bit of movement. And then inhale, come forward. Bring your palms to your thigh. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, slowly lifting up. Now, I've gotten myself a little bit too far. I'm going to step that back foot in a little closer so that I feel like I have a little more balance in my support. You're pressing down into the sole of that front foot. You're reaching back through the inner thigh and inner heel on the back foot. Inhaling, arms up. As you exhale, rotate towards that right leg. Let me switch feet so you can see me. Rotate towards that front leg and open your arms to shoulder height. Inhale, come back to center. With an exhale, hinge forward, sweep your arms behind you, chest long as you reach out over the front of the thigh. And inhale back, arms up. And exhale, open. And inhale, lift. And exhale, sweep the arms back, hinge out. Bring the palm or the fingertips of the hands back down to the floor to your blocks. We're going to bring that back knee down, front knee back to join. Take a quick child's pose in the middle. And then inhale back up to your hands and your knees, working with the left leg now. So I'll switch over to the other side so I can do my other side. Left foot in front, tuck those back toes under, pick up the back knee. Again, rocking forward and back. Not straight leg, just nice and easy. Good, coming forward into your lunge, hands to your thigh. Inhale, chest long. Exhale, engage the low belly as you lift. Once you get here, if you feel wobbly, step that front foot over towards the edge of your mat. If you feel like your stride is too big, shorten your stride. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, rotate towards that front knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sweep the arms back, chest long over the thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge forward. Bring your fingertips back down to the floor. Bring that back knee down to touch. Top of the foot rests on the mat. Bring your front foot back to join your back foot. Tuck your toes under. And I want you to just sit back on your toes. So, thinking about trying to keep the inner heels rotating in towards each other as much as possible. Now, here's a space where you can work with a blanket, or sorry, a pillow. I'm going to use my bolster. And just using your pillow, using some folded up blankets, whatever works, you're going to get up here on your knees and tuck your toes under. So foot and ankle mobility is incredibly important. What's going on with your feet and ankles is what's going on with your knees, with your hips, and of course radiates up your spine. So while we're here, this may be a big space for some of you. You can stay with your body moving forward so that you don't put quite so much pressure on the toes. But we're going to lift the hips. If you're not touching the floor, you're here. And as I exhale, sit back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, sit back. And again, inhale, lift. And exhale, sit back. One more time, inhale, lift. And as you exhale, now I'm going to sit back and pause. So you can sit right here, You can bring your fingertips forward. Whatever works, find that space and just let yourself breathe for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring your hips forward. Let the tops of your feet come to rest on the floor. So you're going to sit back a little bit. Nice stretch for the tops of the feet, ankles, shins, and of course, if that's too much pressure, hinge forward, right? Adjust it so it works for you. A couple more breaths. Good, and then inhale, coming forward. So for this next space, you can sit on your bolster, your pillows, your stacked blankets, your blocks. The blocks will work too. Moving into a little more work for the hips and the ankles. So feet are a little wider than hip distance apart. Hands are behind you. And I want you to just rock from side to side. As you do that, make sure you roll across the whole ball of the foot, right? So you want to make sure that you're not missing that as you roll from one side to the next. Now come back to center. Bring both hands to your left knee. We're going to let that right thigh fall open and roll to center and fall open and center and open and center. And now we're going to do open, center, and across the middle line as much as you can, right? You can take this arm back and release it. Open and center and across the middle line and open and center and across the middle line. Coming back to this space here, holding on to your left knee, your right knee, letting your left thigh rock open and center and open and center and open and center. And one more time. Now you can take that hand behind you, rock open through center, across the midline, back to center and open, and center, across the midline, and center and open. One more time, center, across the midline, and back to center. Now walk your feet a little closer, take your arms, wrap them around your legs, and just give yourself a hug. Good, now inhale, lifting. From here, we're going to move the props out of the way. Come back to your hands and your knees on your mat, and we're going to tuck those toes under. And with an exhale, lift the knees, the hips, and rock back into a bent knee down dog, right? So just a little bit of buoyancy, the hips bouncing. And as you inhale, rock forward and hover. And exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward and hover. And exhale, rock back. And one more time, forward and hover. And exhale, rock back. And then inhale, extend all the way up through the legs. And then slowly rock, lower the heels back down toward the floor. So I want you to think about inner thighs rotating in towards each other. That means your inner heels will gently move away. Not forcefully, right? Just use that spiral for the inner thighs. It'll happen with the heels. Heels do not need to touch the floor. What I do want you to think about, especially for you hypermobile folks, is to not press your chest back towards your thighs, but thinking about engaging strongly and lifting your hip bones up towards the ceiling. So you're working to try and create that V in the center, right? So we're here. It's not this where we're just sinking into the shoulders, but here, right? Lift, lift, lift in the center. Now bend your knees, take your eyes to look forward. Keeping your knees bent, slowly walk your toes forward towards your fingertips. Keep your knees bent when you get there. And I want you to let your whole body roll forward. Knees still bent, and it's deep, right? You want your abdomen to be able to rest right on the tops of your thighs. Make sure that you're not holding your head. So with your next exhale, make sure you relax the head forward. A lot of people tend to hold with their neck, with their head. And I want you to just make sure that you let everything, you're surrendering, you're rolling in on yourself. Good. One more breath. Now from here, walk your feet as wide apart as your mat is. Now with your exhale, you can do one of two things. You can lower down into a half squat, or you can release down into a full squat. Ideally, wherever it is that you're working, you want to keep your heels on the floor. If that's not possible, use your blanket, right? So you can fold this up. Now I can put my heels right up on this blanket, and I've got some extra support, so it's not so hard for me to be here. Gently pressing your elbows out to your knees in towards your elbows. And then release your fingertips to the floor. We're going to lift your hips, keep your knees still bent, upper body draping forward. Once again, abdomen coming to rest on your thighs. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders forward. Now here's your next thing. If you can, if it feels comfortable, take your fingertips back where your heels touch the floor. And as you exhale, maybe you can bring your armpits to rest on your kneecaps. If not, anywhere in between is fine. Remember, conversation, curiosity, exploring what your body has to tell you. There is no perfection in yoga. Here's my words on perfection. It's fucking boring, pardon my French, and it's unattainable. So this is about what feels good to you. Play around with that. Your body will thank you. Now, release your hands from the backs of your heels. Bring your fingertips back in front, and you're going to slowly lengthen your legs. They do not have to be straight. Listening to your body. Knees can stay as bent as you need them to be. Try and feel rooted and grounded through the soles of your feet. And remembering that little V formation that we were doing in our down dog, kind of want you to think about that here as well, right? So think about lifting your hip bones up towards the sky, draw your low belly in just a little bit, give yourself a little bit more room as you relax forward. Good, one more breath. Now with an inhale, bend your knees. With an exhale, we're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, arms and head coming up last. And then inhale, sweep your arms up, palms touch. And as you exhale, gently arching back. So hip bones pressing forward, release your arms open, heart center lifting. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, palms meet at the heart. Good, and from here, we'll come back down to the floor. We're going to finish up right where we started, laying on the floor, using any props that you need. So I like to use my blanket under my head and my bolster, my blocks, pillows underneath my knees. Right, so I can be here. I can have my legs long. I can also bend my knees a little bit and release my inner thighs open. And you've got complete support, so you're not straining through the inner thighs, allows the pelvis to relax, nice and gentle. Once you get settled, take a nice big deep inhale, pausing at the top, and sigh out your exhale. letting yourself hear that breath. I can't hear you, but if we were in the same room, I'd expect to hear all of your breath sighing out. And one more time. Nice big deep inhale. And as you exhale, sigh out that breath. Let the body soften, relax, release. With your next exhale, let the inner corners of the eyes drop down a little deeper into the socket. Letting the outer corners relax out towards your temples, smoothing your cheeks out towards your ears. Relax your jaw. Let your tongue drop down into the bottom of your mouth, softening all the way back to the top of your throat. We tend to transfer tension in our body. It ends up a lot of times in your face. So make sure you're not clenching or gripping with your jaw. Some of you may clench your teeth at night or even during the day. This is something that you can do when you have a minute, right? You're in the toilet, you're in the bathroom, you're in the supply closet, you're wherever it is. Take a couple of minutes and you can put your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your upper chest, and just breathe. Let your eyes close and thinking about relaxing your jaw, right? Softening the tongue. Let all of that space soften and relax. It's a great little timeout for a minute or two that you can do. Continuing to drop down deeper into the breath, relaxing the body deeper into the support of the earth. If your mind starts to wander, which is the true nature of the mind, try not to get caught up in those any thoughts, not any specific thought, just get stuck there. I want you to just think about trying to continue to allow the thoughts to move. In meditation, in yoga, your thoughts are part of your body releasing anxiety, stress, and tension. So I don't ever want to say to you, make your mind clear, because that doesn't work for me personally, and I just don't believe that that's effective. If you just try to make sure to let those thoughts continue to float by, to move by, not getting trapped or stuck in any one thought, it gives your brain and your body a space to release tightness and tension. Now letting your focus drop down into your heart. And as you inhale, heart opening wide. And as you exhale, relaxing down deep into that open space of your heart. Down into that space where the true essence of who you are resides, your hopes, your dreams, that place of all knowing. Now, while you're here, I want you to think about something. Either something that you already have and you'd like to see more of in your life, or something that you haven't manifested yet but would really like to manifest in your life. I want you to just focus on the what and the why, and let go of the how and the when. So just really dial down deep into what is it? Why is this important to me? Keep breathing deep into that space, right? What is it? Why is it important to me? Nice, full, deep inhale. Nice, full, deep exhale. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper, and I want you to imagine that this has already happened in your life. It's already happening. You're living it. So we dial down deeper into that, thinking about what does it look like? What does it smell like, taste like? Who's there with you or not with you? What are you wearing? What are the colors that you see, the smells that you smell, the flavors maybe that you're tasting? Let yourself just dive down a little deeper into that space. And again, just stay right in that space. What is it? Why is it? What does it feel like? Now take a nice big deep inhale and pause at the top and sigh out your exhale. And then I'd like you to take a couple of breaths and just think about what's one small thing that you can do in the next 24 hours or 48 that might bring you one step closer to what it is that you saw. Not big, something small. It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe it's just changing how you're thinking. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend. Whatever it is, something small that you can do that can take you one step closer. And then once again, take that long, full, deep inhalation, pausing at the top, and sigh out your exhale. Full, deep sigh out. Now slowly letting your focus and attention drift back out to the external as you move fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, gently moving your head from side to side, nice and easy, right? Nice and easy. Now bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to touch the floor. Roll over onto your left side, the yin side of the body, the feminine energy side of the body. Draw your knees in towards your chest. You can reach up and with your arms hug your legs into your body. Taking a moment to feel that sense of safety. Feeling the connection between your heart and my heart and every other heart that's practicing with us, knowing that we are all connected, all a part of the same community. Take a nice big deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly moving up to a seated space. And then with your next inhale, take your arms wide open to the side, spread your fingertips wide apart. And then as you exhale, give yourself a giant hug and use the opposite arm that you would normally go to, right? So it might feel a little odd. Wherever your fingertips are touching, I want you to imagine breathing into that space. And as you exhale, thinking about someone or something that you appreciate in your life today. And then relax your head forward. And with an inhale, lifting your head back up, slide your arms back apart, bring your palms to meet at your heart. Take another nice, big, full, deep inhale, spine lifting tall, and exhale, release your head forward, chin relaxing down towards your chest. May you move off of your mat and into the rest of your day with ease and grace. May the light in me reach out and touch the light in you. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.